welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. If you're new here, my name is Gugu. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for stopping back by. Without further ado, this is an everyday basic glam kind of makeup look. This is my most consistent routine and I'm in love. My makeup lasts a long time. It looks natural. Well, to me it looks natural, and I do hope you enjoy it. Don't forget to comment down below any new video suggestions you may have for me, or any requests you have, or any tips you have learned in this video. Don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe down below if you haven't already. I am running late. I need to go. My mom's gonna kill me, but I hope you enjoy the video. I love you. God loves you more. Stay beautiful, stay blessed, drink your water, and mind your business. Period. I've got to go. I'm just glad I look good. Okay loves, so all the products I'll be using in this video are in the description box, so do check that out. I'll be using some setting spray on a bar of pure glycerine soap. This is not an in-depth tutorial for my eyebrows or eyeshadow routine. If you want that, please do comment down below. These are just a couple of snippets that I'm showing you, but I use soap brows for the most part. I prefer to set my eyebrows with soap because they just stay in place for longer. As you can see, I have very thick, hairy eyebrows, so the best way to tame them is to use soap. You can also use edge control, but I feel like edge control melts throughout the day, so for me this is my most consistent routine for long-lasting makeup. I also use an eyeliner pencil. You can also use a lip liner, but be sure to use a brown eye pencil instead of black. It just looks more natural when you use a lighter shade of brown. I also fill in my brows because they are already quite thick. I don't need to do a lot, but obviously this will be different for everybody. And at the bottom of my eyelid, I use a lighter shade of concealer, and at the top I conceal my eyebrows with foundation. It just looks more natural and more seamless. If you do want your eyebrows to pop, you can use concealer at the top, but for me this is just so beautiful. It blends in wonderfully with the rest of my makeup. As you can see, soap brows are for a more natural, fluffy looking eyebrow. So if this is not what you like, then this routine is probably not for you. However, let us move on to the eyeshadow. I prefer to use my bronzer as an eyeshadow. It just makes the whole look and face just come together. It looks natural, it looks seamless, they all blend in together. And I'm going to blend that bronzer from my crease and also going towards the inner corner of my eye, almost following my nose. It just makes everything just look like one cohesive eyeshadow look. And then I'm going to go in with a bronzer glitter. It's almost like a shimmer. Yeah, and then I'm going to blend that out lightly and go back in with the same eyeliner pencil that I used on my eyebrow and just create a winged liner. It doesn't need to be perfect. As you can see, mine was a bit rusty, and I'm going to use the same brush just to blend it out and make it look just a bit more smoky. I prefer this look on the go. It's very quick, it's very easy and simple. Put on some mascara and some lashes if you prefer. You don't have to put on lashes. I just love the look that lashes give me. And now let us get into this face. I'm going to start off with sunscreen. Girl, you need to protect your skin and your face. That is the most important step of any makeup or any face routine. You need sunscreen to protect your face. So I forgot to shave my face. It is very important for me to shave my face, especially my mustache area as well as my unibrow, because I don't like how my facial hair pops out through my makeup. It just doesn't make me comfortable, so I prefer to shave my mustache area. Those are the main points that I focus on. As you can see, the girl is very hairy, but when I do shave, my makeup just looks so perfect. Like, I can't explain it, but it just looks amazing. It is perfect. You have to try it to believe it. I don't get any rash or any pimples or infections. It just my makeup just looks beautiful. And honestly, I just don't like my facial hair or any fuzz popping out of my makeup, so this step is very important for me. Of course, you do not need to shave your face. I simply do this because it just creates a smooth, clean canvas for me to apply my makeup. It just looks more smooth and beautiful personally, but you don't have to. And I'm going to blend in my sunscreen and then apply some primer. I have been using this primer for over a year and it has never let me down. It is so affordable and my makeup lasts so long. It literally minimizes the pores. So what this means, I know many people are not quite sure what the purpose of primer is, but it just blurs out any rashes or pimples that you have. Now it doesn't take them away, but it does minimize their appearance overall. And I'm also going to use some setting powder just to make sure that my makeup lasts longer. I press it on top of the primer and it also just helps with that blurring effect, especially if you're somebody like me who has oily skin, you sweat a lot throughout the day. Make sure that you apply primer as well as the setting powder as your base, just to make sure that you control those oils throughout the day and it helps your makeup last longer. I learned this hack from Miss Jackie Eyeliner, so I have stuck with it and it works wonders. If you have clear skin, you do not need this step, but I am going to color correct and conceal all my dark marks or any pimples that I have on my face using this concealer. Now this LA Glow concealer is full coverage and it is also affordable, and I'm going to use that as a base. If you think I'm using a lot of concealer, please don't worry, because I'll be using a small amount of foundation in this video. You will see later on, but it is very important for me to try and conceal those dark marks. It doesn't mean that they're completely going to fade away, however it's just going to minimize their appearance. And I'm going to let this concealer just sit on my face for a little while so that the concealer can be pigmented and have the most effective outcome for me. I also put this concealer on my mustache area as well as under my eyes as a base. After letting the concealer rest for a little while on my face, I'm going to use a dry beauty blender just to pack it into my face and make sure that it sits. Do you see how seamless this looks? This concealer is honestly so powerful. You would be good with this on its own. But now I'm going to contour. I prefer cream products. In this case, I'll be using a foundation stick to contour. They just blend in way easier and it makes your makeup look so natural. It doesn't look as patchy as it would, especially if you're not comfortable with powder products. So this is my favorite foundation stick. It is so beautiful. It is warm toned. I prefer more warmer tones for my face. It just complements my skin tone. I love warm tones on black girls. It looks beautiful. I applied a little bit below my chin because I do have pimples there. I just wanted to conceal that. Now, if you're somebody who is not comfortable with blush, this is the perfect trick to still get that beautiful pinky undertone without going overboard. Because sometimes people tell me that they're afraid of using blush, they feel they're gonna overdo it. So if you're somebody like that, this is a beautiful hack for you. Apply a pink or red lipstick as a base during your makeup, and we're going to put foundation over it, so it is going to blend in with the rest of your face. However, I'm going to start by blending out my contour below the cheeks and the chin, and then I'm going to use a beauty blender to blend out that blush. I recommend using a lipstick instead of a liquid lipstick, because sometimes those liquid lipsticks can appear patchy and hard to blend, unlike a stick, which is more creamy and easier to blend. So if you're not sure if your lipstick is going to create streaks, go for a lipstick, not the liquid lipstick. I hope I'm making sense. And also, I applied a little too much lipstick on my forehead. I don't know why I did that, but I tried to blend it out and it did work out in the end. Now, moving on to foundation, I use two foundations. It may seem like a lot, but the first one that I'm using is full coverage. However, for me, it is just a little bit too much like paint, unlike the Fit Me, which has a natural finish. So I love the matte of the Superstay Activewear foundation, but I also love how smooth and natural looking the Fit Me is. With the Fit Me foundation, though, I did realize that it does move when you wear your masks, unlike the activewear. When I wear my mask, girl, that makeup is still there. So using both of them helps my makeup last longer. And then I'm also going to use some setting spray before and after I apply the foundation. It also helps the makeup last longer. And apply a little bit of setting spray to your foundation brush. This just helps your makeup last overall throughout the day. As you can see, I did not use a lot of foundation. I am simply using it to cover any empty spaces on my face. Make sure to blend out towards your ears as well, and as you can see, that blush is already going to disappear and look more minimal. So I honestly recommend it for those people who are a bit shy or scared of blush. As you can see, everything is already coming together. It is looking as one, and I just love this routine. It is so beautiful. And then I'm going to use my other brush to blend out my contour. To make the contour come together with the rest of my face, I blend it into my hairline. It just looks more natural that way. And then I'm going to blend out my nose contour. If you're like me and you never knew the purpose behind these flat foundation brushes, I finally found a hack. So I use it to blend out my concealer. It just helps the concealer maintain that full coverage look, because beauty blenders absorb product, but this foundation brush places that full coverage under your eyes so that it still lasts and still shows up as pigmented, basically. So that is a little tip or trick that I learned, and this just makes everything look so full coverage. It looks beautiful. And you don't have to do this step, but I do prefer going in with a lighter shade of concealer just because I love that bright under eye look. I love the contrast it shows on my face. I'm going to blend it out and you will see that it just matches with the rest of the face. You won't get flashback when you take pictures. I know it looks as if I'm using a lot, but because we have that neutral base at the bottom with the LA Girl Pro concealer, everything is just going to look seamless. Don't worry about looking like a ghost. As As you can see, girl, we didn't use a lot of foundation, but while that concealer sits under my eye, I'm going to start preparing my setting powder for my eyes. I prefer to use a big fluffy brush to apply setting powder. This just gives me a more airbrushed look or finish. I will set this powder though, however, after applying with the brush, I will use a beauty blender, so that is not a problem. You can use a beauty blender or a brush, it is just based on preference. This concealer is full coverage, so I do not mind blending it out with a beauty blender, and it must be damp so that it just blends in more seamlessly with the rest of the face. You can still use the flat foundation brush if your concealer is not full coverage, but using a blender at this stage just helps everything come together and blend in just more beautifully, more naturally. And then I am going to tap off the excess of the powder and pack it underneath my eyes. You do have to press your brush when it comes to your under eyes. It just helps you reach those corners, which is why I guess people do prefer using a beauty blender, but I'm going to go with the beauty blender after doing this step. I use the excess setting powder just to apply some setting powder on my mustache area as well as my chin. And now I'm using my face powder to blend in and continue to pack in that setting powder underneath my eyes. You don't need to apply as much setting powder as I do. This just helps me to balance that bright under eye look, as I did say. However, if you don't want a bright under eye look, I would suggest you just use your face powder to make it look more natural. It won't be as bright as mine looks in this video. Now, I will admit that baking is not necessary for the average everyday look. However, I prefer to apply setting powder where I applied my foundation and beneath my contour. Because I was wearing a mask, it just helped my makeup stay on my face longer, so it did not move throughout the day. This for me just makes such a huge difference. But if you're not comfortable with baking or applying setting powder, you can skip this step or just use your face powder to help your makeup last longer. Now, while I am baking, I will be doing my lip combo, and these are the two products that I used. I used that same lipstick I used as a blush, as well as the pencil that I used for my eyebrows. I started using my buff foundation brush just to blend in that contour that I put below my cheeks, but then I wanted this lip combo to look a little bit more pinky nude. Don't worry, the products are in the description box. And I went back in with that foundation brush just to help make that powder look more seamless, because applying so much powder is mattifying, but it can look very dry. So it is important to go back in with your foundation brush just to blend everything together and make it look look more natural. I also use setting powder just to help balance out all that setting powder, and I still go back in with that foundation brush to pack and make sure that the setting powder really sits into the face. This is also a tip that helps your makeup last longer throughout the day. Now I'm going to apply some bronzer where I applied the contour. I also mix my bronzer with a blush, which is also kind of orange. I love how it looks on brown skin girls. I'm telling you, get onto that orange blush. It just makes such a huge difference. As you can see, that is how I look with bronzer and blush on one side, and it just helps my makeup just look so put together. This is my favorite step in my makeup routine. I also dust off the excess powder on my arm before I apply it on my face, just so that it doesn't appear patchy and it's just easier to blend out that powder. Now, everybody's favorite step, including mine also, is to re-emphasize my beauty spot. I should be using a Q-tip, but I didn't have any, but I'm going to use the same pencil I use for my eyebrows and just re-emphasize my beautiful spot. I use eyeshadow palettes for my highlighter and blush, so if you don't have a separate palette for, let's say, a bronzer, you don't have to go out and buy one. Just use your eyeshadow colors. They work just as well and they're still just as pigmented. Honestly, highlighter just makes a huge difference. It's also another favorite step in my makeup routine. Don't forget to wipe off any excess from your hands. Girl, we have foundation, we have bronzer colors there, so don't forget to wipe that off. But you have reached to the end of the video. I am so grateful that you took time out of your day to watch this video. I hope you found it helpful. Don't forget to subscribe down below if you haven't already, and comment down which was your favorite step. I love you. God loves you more. Stay beautiful. Bye.